Welcome back. This is Youth Cafe. Get this, 483 incidents of students' unrest were reported last year. 483. Out of that 483, 429 were in secondary, more specifically during the second term, and half of them were caused by arsons. And that's what we really want to talk about this evening. We want to unpackage this whole fire issue that we're seeing within our high schools. So allow me to introduce our panel this evening that will help us do so. Seated next closer to me is Evelyn Shigoli, who is a parent, but has also been a teacher as well. And I'd really love to hear her thoughts because she has both sides in one heart, rather. Then we have Joy Ohon, who is a student, grade 9, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for coming on Youth Cafe. And Asili, who do you have on your end?
Lily, teacher Lily. Niseme tu jina peke yake ama niseme?
Lily Kaibei.
Kaibei. Unajua nasema jina alafu Ibei ishuke chini. But alafu pia kuna mtu anatujoin via phone anaitwa Susan Gitao, who's a psychologist.
All right. So first of all, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Let me just begin with Evelyn. Do you think that as parents, or even as the entire academic umbrella, we need to start really rethinking this whole boarding system? It worked, yes, for our parents, and it worked for some of us. But with the generation that is coming, do we really need to start rethinking boarding?
Yeah, thank you. I think boarding schools are good for the children. Why I say so? Because of many issues that are happening these days. You find parents are very busy, and that's the reason why they take their children to boarding schools. Yeah. Because you find mothers are not at home, fathers are not there. Mothers are busy, maybe they've gone back to school. Daddies are busy doing business, so they come home late. So you find they reach a time where they say, now I have to take my child to boarding school because I have no time to supervise homework. Right. I think that's the reason.
Lily Kaibe, you're also a teacher. Would you agree with what Evelyn has said, that yes, boarding is important, and I'm sure it helps build up certain characteristics such as independence and so forth, but it also means that parents get to leave their kids, they drop their kids and they say, you know, see you around midterm or see you when during visiting day, and then that's it, you know? We don't really get to see or feel the presence of parents during the term. So would you agree with Evelyn?
Okay, when you say rethinking boarding school, it's a bit radical, though the parents' input at school is very important. Right. So maybe we can talk about how well we can partner as teachers and parents to bring up these children at school. Yeah.
Okay.
Joy, do you enjoy, are you in a boarding school?
Yes, I am.
Do you enjoy the whole thing, like being in boarding school?
I love being in boarding school.
Why? What's the #1 reason you like being in boarding school?
Because, for experience, I want to tell my kids something that's happened. Like, my parents tell me stories of what happened in their boarding school, so I also want to tell my kids stuff. Sometimes I miss home, but yeah, boarding is nice.
So you think boarding is a good thing? Boarding school is not the best things.
It depends. It depends on the person. I like it.
I wish I was you.
Joy, but I'm sure there's some of your friends who do not like boarding school.
They hate boarding.
They hate boarding. Why? Why? When you talk to them or when you interact with them, why do they hate boarding school?
Because being in boarding limits you. You don't get to go out and have fun and all that. Just reading, preps and all that. So when you're at home, you can go out, you can have fun. Like,
over the weekend? Yeah. After homework is done?
Not really, but yeah.
All right. So, but take a look at this issue that we've been seeing with Moi girls. First of all, it's not the fire, the only fire that we've seen. There were others that have also happened. It was caused by a 14-year-old girl, and reports show that she was suicidal. This was not the first time she tried committing suicide. Where were we? And when I mean we, I mean as parents, as teachers, as even friends to that 14-year-old girl, when she tried to commit suicide 2 times. Lillian, you're a teacher. Do you think teachers need to start paying more attention to students past, you know, just giving them homework, sitting down and talking to them, asking them, how was your day? Is anyone bullying you? Is there anything that is disturbing you? Because surely when a 14-year-old girl is trying to commit suicide twice, and on the 3rd attempt, she, you know, puts a school ablaze, it's really not her fault. It's coming deep down from somewhere. So as parents, as friends, as teachers, as the administration, do we need to start paying more attention?
Okay, I'll start from your point of it's not really her fault. I think we can't really say it's not her fault. Of course, she is to blame because at 14 years, you have an ability to reason and think things out. So I think as schools, we do have measures of communication where teachers can get feedback from the students.
Right.
We have guiding and counseling programs. Some schools have the tutorial system where we have mentors that can talk to students, or maybe some do not, but it's a good system. So maybe we need to strengthen those areas where we can get feedback from our children, from the students, and know what they're feeling, know what they are going through, know what they want, the suggestions that they have, and how well maybe we can help them. But I would also like our children to know something.
Right.
That in this world, you don't always get what you want. That is something that is very important for them to understand. That in this world, you can get what you want, and you can also miss it. And so how do you deal with what you want and you can't get? And not everything that you want is also good. So you have to be open to reason. So maybe as parents and as teachers, we should not give up. We should keeping on, talking to our children and encouraging them and helping them to see.
All right, so Susan Gitau, who is a psychologist and also part of the team that is helping counsel the girls back in Moi Girls, is joining us by way of phone. Susan, thank you so much for being on the show. I would like to hear your thoughts on the issue of what we've just talked about here, where you have the incident of a 14-year-old girl in some of the situations that we've seen, even a 16-year-old student who sets their school ablaze. And prior to that, there was calls shouting, or rather calls of attention that were needed. What do you think, from a psychologist's point of view, that we need to do when you have a 14-year-old girl who has tried to commit suicide twice? What are we doing wrong?
Well, I do not want to blame anybody and say that there's something wrong we are doing. Sometimes I like talking about what is missing. Could it be capacity to assess the psychological issues among the students? Because that girl was clinically depressed. And when I talk about clinical depression, it's very funny because clinical depression is not like psychosis, where you can see somebody having weird behavior. But the fact that there were 2 attempts of suicide, that was serious enough. Even one, even talking about it without going to the attempting part of it, it is good enough to give these girls special attention. And again, I want to say we still have investigations ongoing, so it's also not good to start pointing fingers at anyone, the school administration, maybe the other girls, because at this particular moment, it's delicate. Because listening to those girls, you'll hear some of them saying, probably we are to blame, we did not sleep with the Form 1s, we did not, all that.
Right.
But when we talk about psychological assessment, I want to say it doesn't have to be done by a specialist. How much do parents know their children? When do they tell now? It's important for me as a parent to actually take a step of taking my child to a specialist. Yeah. And in this case, I want to talk about the first contact should be a counseling psychologist. If the counseling psychologist is not able to assess the psychological issues within this client, they should refer to the next person who is a clinical psychologist. And a clinical psychologist can recommend some medication. And if the clinical psychologist is unable to handle that client, they need to refer to a psychiatrist. And I want to say that you don't have to be an expert as a parent. There is no one who knows your child better than you do. So it is important for parents. And I also want to say, teachers, listen, the children still want to be in boarding schools. That means you become their second parent. Yeah. And I don't want to be harsh on teachers because I was once a teacher. And there was a time one of the students in my class, as a class teacher, committed suicide. I want to actually say I did not see it coming. But it gave me a very good challenge. That is when I went back to study psychology in depth. and in-depth about child and adolescent psychology.
Wow.
So I want to give my fellow teachers a challenge, because once a teacher, always a teacher. What you don't know, please ask for capacity building. And for the administration of schools, give the teachers a chance, especially those who have done counseling, because the girls or the boys in schools, they want to trust the counselor. They should not be appearing in class, so that they are able to do their job without interference.
Okay, we'll come back to Susan. As always, we wanted to find out what are your thoughts on this issue of the fires that we've been seeing within our schools. We went to Eldoret this week on Street Sense, and we wanted to find out their thoughts on the issue of school unrest. Take a look.
I think we have to actually go back to the basics and ask the very fundamental questions as to how parenting should be inculcated into our children's way of doing things. And I believe in that way, if we are going to go back to the basics, I think we can be able to mitigate these unrest that we are witnessing.
Wakobe mtihani. Kuna issues ambayo wameraise na walimu hawataka kusikia. Wangekuwa wakiongea na walimu wao na wazazi. Ndio wakiraise issues, mzazi anasikia na anateka action. Sasa ndio unaona sasa wanachoma shule juu wanakasirika, kuna kitu wapendelei, ndio wanachoma shule.
Matiang'i alipoingia walianza kuchoma shule, kuonekana kwamba kuna mianya ambazo zilikuwa zinatumika kuiba mitihani. Kwa hivyo sasa wanafunzi wanaona hizo mianya zimesibwa na hakuna vile wataweza kudanganya.
Walimu hawachukui hatua zaidi kwa wanafunzi na kuwaongelesha kuhusu athari ya moto shuleni.
Ni kukoza kabisa kwamba wako shuleni wanasomea nini. Sasa utakuta wengine pia wameweza kufika shuleni pale wakawa na matumizi ya dawa za kulevya, na vile vile mambo kama yale pia yanaweza kuathiri pakubwa sana akili yao katika kule kufikiria.
Mmecheki Street Sense na kuambia this time round tulikuwa LD, lakini si LD peke yake tulikuwa. Tumeambiwa sewa tume video za WhatsApp tujue vile wana feel kuhusu history ya unrest in schools. Check his story.
He was in Mukia Boys High School, a school in Makueni County. By the way, that school used to be iconic space. Ilikuwa na tugorofa, a lot of stairs. So in case of any fire incident, we could all be in trouble, deep trouble. Now, to the guys who are chomaring mashule, this is a sign of immaturity, which is okay, fine. They are not mature, it's okay, fine. But at least, show that at least you have stepped into high school. So my message to them, by the way, is watch ujinga, and they a little bit mature up, and they show some sense that they have gone to school.
High school, can I really say it was safe? I really don't know. They could see some fire extinguishers there, but unless the situation occurred, then we would have known how it would have gone down. My reason why I think students are starting fires in schools, my opinion is maybe it's the frustration of exams, but I think it happened, and the government, we really didn't see a thorough investigation about why it happened some years back. Then it's happening again. So it means the government is really not working to find the real solution.
Truly, it's so shocking. It's so, by the way, it's not good what is happening in most schools here in Kenya. The reason, one of the reasons maybe that may result to this, it is the anger that comes from the students. Maybe when they have collided here and there, they have crushed shoulders with their students' council, like the head boy, maybe they are being harassed. So that is one of the reasons that may be causing these particular cases of fire.
Nakwambia WhatsApp wase wamebonga pia, na lakini lazima hii conversation iendelee hapa hivi ndani. Evelyn, you're a parent, na ningependa kujua how una understand that kuna kuoga na shida ya kutransition. Primary school mtoto amekuwa akisomea labda private school. Alafu ameitwa high school, ameitwa in a public institution. As a parent, ni ufanya nini ku make sure that mtoto akitoka primo akiingia high school ana follow hizo steps, yani ana feel ni kama ako welcome kwa hizo institution, because ni two different lifestyles.
Okay, thank you. I think it's all about being close to your child, following up on what your child is doing, good relationship between a parent and a child. You know, children, we call them children, But they know, sometimes you find they know a lot more than what a parent knows. So unless you follow up, mtoto atakuchezea. So what I mean is that you have to be close to your child. Talk to your child. Make sure you know what this child wants. But if you know, for example, Joy here is in high school. If Joy tells the mother, I want to go to boarding school, or I want this school, I don't want this one, the mother should be able to listen to Joy. And talk.
African
and find
parents
out.
new skiza kweli.
We do.
Unaambia utaenda hiyo shule utakaa.
Your mother doesn't listen. I think we need
my mother, as in generally, they don't listen. They think, oh, this is just a child. She doesn't know anything.
That's why I'm sending even a message to parents now. Please let us listen to our children. Let us be close to them. Let's follow up what these children are doing. You know, that friendship between your daughter, mother, son, father, or son, mother, it can really help.
Wacha niulize mwalimu swali moja. Unajua mnakanga shule, labda mnakaa nao mas today, mmekaa nao mna interact na vitu kama hizo. Hii story yote inafanyika kwa sababu watu wanaogopa exam ama ni nini exactly? Okay, umesikia comments. Watu wamecomment wamesema mazejo wao watoto wanaogopa exam. Rules za Matiang'i. Kila mtu anaogopa Matiang'i sasa hata si exam. Hebu tuambie.
I don't think we can't really say school fires are happening mainly because of exams, because like for the recent case, it wasn't a Form 4 who caused the fire, it was actually a Form 1. So I think as a society we have very many issues that are coming out in very many ways. And I also heard someone mention there about drugs. That's one of them. School fires have been happening even from years back, even when we were in school. Such incidents used to happen. But only that this time round they have become so many. The cases have become so many. So, and we are asking ourselves, so where is the problem? So where is the loophole? Why are we having all these fires?
Let's hear from Susan. Susan, you were once a teacher, now you're a psychologist. Do you think exam anxiety has a big role to play in what we're seeing within our schools?
Yes. Well, I would want to say it's true we have exam anxiety because it's like everything is centered around exams. Well, I'm very happy because the new curriculum will roll out from January maybe to all the schools. But I want to say it's important, again, not to take anything for granted. Maybe some of us just survived during our times. But the children we have today, and even the kind of elevation we give to the well-performing schools, and even if it's at the family level, you find parents also elevating the children who are performing well. I would want to say it's important to have a competence-based education and training, whereby children are carried with their abilities. And I would want to talk about facilitation in a classroom more than teaching. Because when you facilitate as a teacher, you create a relationship with the students. And they see you more of someone who is mentoring them, someone who is coaching them, someone who means well for them. Unlike a curriculum whereby it's more of a custodian and more of controlling. And I want to say that parents need to work closely with the teachers. Many a times you find teachers feeling like the parents have given them a job to parent. They also want good grades. If you look at performance contracts, even in the government institutions, so you find the teacher is also caught between a hard rock and space. And you realize that they are also parents. They also have their own issues. So when we talk about exam anxiety, it is important not to really overemphasize the importance of these exams, but more important about this child. And I also want, because somebody mentioned something that is quite important here. When we are taking our children from primary to high school, if you actually had a child in private primary school and boarding for that matter, and they are joining a public one, mostly these national schools, it is important for that transition to be fair and just for that child. And vice versa for any child coming maybe from a very high profile primary school to a public school that equalizes everybody. I think in a very big way, we miss that transitional guidance and counseling, which is very, very important. And even exam preparation makes them psychologically prepared and ready for those exams. And let them see life beyond the exams. Otherwise, if we stick to that, I think we're really messing up our children.
All right. Before we can go to Atkana Joy, do you think that teachers pay attention to students more than just going beyond teaching and giving homework? For example, in your school, does a teacher come and ask you, how are you doing, Joy? You know?
No.
No?
Of course not.
So do we need better relationships with our teachers?
Even if we did have, like, even if teachers would come and ask you such things,
you may not want to tell.
Yeah, we wouldn't really care.
Yeah.
This is from a student perspective.
Why? Is it because
we don't trust them?
Okay. So you've heard from Joy, who is directly as a student. This week on Art Corner, there's this amazing guy, Aseli. He's 3-in-1. He's a charcoal artist, he's a painter, and he's also a tattoo artist. I mean, how talented is someone like that?
Mungu yupatia mtu other gifts on top of kama unatumia yenye uko nayo anakuongezea kilemba.
All right, let's take a look at this week's Art Corner.
My name's Keith Agwanda, aka Venom 91 of Trace Tattoos. I'm a charcoal artist based at Dust Depot Art Studio, under mentorship by Patrick Mukabi. Ever since I can remember, mimi nimekuwa naweza kudraw. Ni vile tu siko take more seriously than vile only 2 years ago ndio nimekuja take art a bit more seriously, like as a way of, unajua sipo wasi wanasema hawana job juu ati umeenda shule uko na degree, but kuna vitu zingine pia unaweza do nachikika art hata itaki shule. Kwangu art ni kajani juu unaanza place flani. I wasn't this good when I started. Sioni kama nimefika mahali nataka kufika pia. Naona I still have a few more steps to take. Art is sustainable to some extent, but you can't have one art form enye ati inakulisha na ndio inaku. I think art is broad. You need to try new stuff because what you think someone may like, pengine mtu mwingine hapendi. Sasa inafaa pia unajua unaweza fanya zote mbili, kama mimi tattoos na charcoal, of which mingi zimekuwa portraits, commission works. My art is inspired by human nature first of all, futurism kidogo, illustrations. Every artist has a different way of doing their thing, but me personally, me one's on a sketch. Alafu my sketches are always ziko perfected because the moment I go transfer it to something bigger, I want it to appear the way I saw it. Hata kama nita make changes for the final work, sitaki zikuwe like a lot of changes. Then I really think on the subjects that I want to tackle. Alafu finally board ama canvas ama brown paper. The biggest mistake people do with that is unaitaka kuifanya for the money. It's also a mistake I did. I'm guilty, very guilty of that mistake. Kwanza unajua ukisikia unafanya art, unasikia sijui so and so alikuwa na show ameuza pieces sijui ngapi. You also want that, but huwezi jua struggle enye mtu alipitia kufika hapo. Artists that influence my work, Patrick Mukabi, he's the owner of Dust Depot. Solomon Luvai, he's a very good friend of mine. Nika bro kwangu from mali tumetoana naye ni mbali sana. He's actually the main reason why I started focusing much more seriously on art as a way of life. Dealing with clients is hard work. Saa zingine client anaweza kuambia commissions, with commissions mostly. Saa zingine client anakuambia I want such and such a thing at such and such a time. When you deliver anakuambia hapana, this is not how I wanted it. Na we mwenyewe as the artist ushaona vile inafaa kukua. If you're a young artist looking to get into art, mimi naweza sema first of all kabisa prayer is a very important thing. Mimi huomba kila siku. Every day before I go to bed I have to pray. When I wake up I have to pray for the day. So prayer is very important. Kuna kitu inaitwa sketchbook, which many artists take for granted. You really need to have a sketchbook because how are you going to transfer your idea from the mind to, something clean that you want to produce? You need a sketch. Alafu pia don't be influenced by outside forces. kama unataka kudu art, we mwenyewe unajua mbona unataka kudu art. Usiseme nataka kudu art juu nataka kufanya paintings kaza ule msee.
All right, so the show has come to an end, sadly, but thank you so much, guys, for coming, and also Susan, who was joining us by way of phone, helping us really unwrap this conversation. We had a psychologist, Susan Gita. We also have Evelyn, who is a parent as well as a teacher. Joy, who was confident enough to come as she's in grade 9, and of course, teacher Lily, on the other side. Thank you so much for coming.
What do you think?
I'm Brian Aseli. And of course, we want to thank our viewers who make this show very much possible. Thank you for tuning in every single Friday, 8 to 9 on KTN News. This is Youth Cafe, and really want to hear your thoughts on what you want to see more on this show. So to tweet us at KTN News, at Zinzi_K, and at Brian_Aseli. But from me and the team, have yourselves a lovely night.
And of course, hashtag Youth Cafe. Na hii show ni navaa inakaa sana. Ni dress code by Maxwell Mudhembi. Nimwambia change haifanyikagi hizo Friday peke yake, hufanyika pia hizo siku zingine za wiki. So change. Sijui kana make sense. Change. Good night.